Hello again, and welcome back to the trench. So, after the last fiasco of when I was introduced into how this happened, I managed to get the Kriegsman back on my side by unfortunately having to pay a decent sum of money and work with the Imperial people. You know, they're horrible people who think that they're all above us because we live in the trench. So yeah, that is my punishment. But now I get to talk about it without being chucked through a window and shot at, which is a plus. So today we will be covering the mech side of the Tau, you know, the big, small, should be bigger side of it, especially my favourite, the broadside battlesuit. That should be taller than it is and bigger than what it is, because compared to other Tau things, it looks tiny. And for the model, when you look at it, you're like, oh, look at that. He looks quite big, you know, he's got that big gun. And then you look at him in person, and then it's, he's about same size as Shaquille O'Neal, probably, you know, as you do. So, with that all said, let's get on to the painting. So to start off the painting process, you're going to first prime your model white, and then you're going to take Agrox Earthshade, and you're just going to apply this all over the model, and then you're going to strike it down. Yeah, we're now going to strike it down like we're a god. No, you're going to basically just put it off with a bit of kitchen towel or paper towel to get like a dirty effect into the model and get the brown into all of the recesses. So then you're going to take Rattling Grime and a black of your choice, and we're going to apply this to the legs of the guy, the gun of the guy, and the black things on like his shoulders. I guess you would call them like kneecap things for robots. Yeah, do you know what? That's what I'm going to call them from now on, kneecaps or caps. So yeah, you just want to apply it all over them. We're then going to take White Scar and Skaven Blight Dinge, and you're going to mix it roughly, we'll say 50-50, but it depends if you want it darker or lighter. I chose to do it a bit lighter at first and then gave it a second coat to make it a bit darker. But essentially, you're just going to put this over bits of his armor to make like, kind of switch up from the white, to give it a bit of differentiation between his armor. So after you have painted the last step, we're now going to take null oil, and you're just going to apply this over every single thing you painted before. So, or black before, not everything. So you're going to paint the legs, you're then going to paint the gun, and the black bits, these caps, as well as what I forgot to mention in the last bit is the missiles, the bits just under the missiles before the actual missile bits are. You're going to paint that as well, black, but with the last mixture and with the null. Now moving on from the black and white, like we're back in 1965, don't think they had colour TV then, but I'll probably be wrong. We're now going to add some red. So we're going to add Blood Angel's red to the top of his missiles, his head, and the little thing that points out. And that's basically it. Yeah, there's not much to this guy when it comes to red, but it's a bit of a change. So after you've applied the red to the other things, you're then going to take Flesh Terror's red, and you're just going to apply this over the rockets to make them darker and to differentiate. There you go, we got it, yeah. It from the head. So on to the last step of the red, you're going to take Evil Sun's Scarlet, and you're just going to use this to highlight the red on the helmet that we've already put on, and then legit just the tops of the rockets to where the light is shining just on them. But you don't want to apply too much, obviously, to just keep the lighting difference between both of them. Do you know what? I still think it should be bigger. I mean, come on, right? It's a big mech with a railgun. I mean, looking at its rules here, right? It's got 5 movements. He's a slow son of a bitch anyway. He's got wounds of 8, right? So you would think, especially with a slow movement speed and 8 wounds, he would be a little bit bigger. As well as, I mean, what? His weapon is hitting on 4s, 2 attacks, 60 range, strength 12 and -4 AP. He's a big lad with a big weapon, and he's literally tiny. Hell, Farsight is bigger than him. And the reason I know that is because side-by-side comparison, innit? But it's just a thing, he is a very small model, and I believe that he should be bigger. I mean, apart from that, I mean, what, 2 saving throw? He's got advanced armor, feel no pain of 4 against mortal wounds. He's very good. It's just, he's too small for me. I mean, like, for some reason, I believe he should be as tall as a Riptide. Riptide being, you can't even see my hands. I'm sitting in like a pleb going like this. But it should be a decent size. Apart from that, though, there's not much else to say about him. I mean, 100 points, 80 points. 80 points for him. That's cheap. But don't get me wrong, he probably still could take out me and the boys. Especially because compared to him, I'm still like probably 14 foot smaller, but it's a minor inconvenience. He should be bigger. But I think it's time to get back onto the painting. To start the painting back off, we're going to take Dragon's Gold and we're going to paint this basically just all over the pots that we want gold, which me saying out loud is kind of just obvious in a sense, but essentially it's going to be the big symbol on his gun, the small one next to it, the one on his groin armor, the one just under his missiles, and the 2 on his back legs. So you want to paint it just over all of that for your... I gave mine 1 and it came out alright, but if yours comes out a little bit like thin, like you can see the white underneath it, just give it a second coat. To highlight the gold up, we're going to take glistening gold, and you're just going to put this in the locations where the light would shine most on the gold. So for me, I put it on the 2 on the gun, as well as the 1 on the back of the gun, which is the same one as the one in the front of the gun. And then I done it on the back of one of his legs, because that gets the sun most. But obviously it's going to be different depending on where you pick the sun to be shining. So yeah, just put it wherever you have the sun shining. To highlight it even further, we're going to take white gold here, and we're just going to put it on the very tips of the highlights where the sun's really beaming in. And the last clip was a bit black. I've lost a video clip I took for it, so it's just have to be like that. My apologies. So moving away from the gold and that, we're going to go on to the visors and stuff like that. So you're going to take Techless Blue, and you're going to apply this onto the visor of his eyes, and you're going to do it once, get it blue, and then you're going to slowly line it up, probably about 2 or 3 times with a white, before just putting a white speck highlight in there. We're now going to move on to plasma, right? Because everyone loves plasma, if they can do it right, which is quite hard to do. So we're going to take Psychic Bloom, and you're going to put this first of all on the guy's back, in his power thing to signate like the power's running through him. And then what you're going to do is, now I didn't do this because I'm a massive idiot, but you really should, is put white over the black bits in his railgun and then put it in, because I don't know if I do it in the clip, I probably don't, but I don't, and it just kind of looks, I'm not going to lie, I don't like the look of it. It looks off. I'll probably go back eventually and change it, but yeah, just whiten it up, then apply it. But the back came out right, but the railgun just came out not too great. But it's mainly because I didn't put white in it and all that, but that's what you should do. And for the last step of the mini, you're going to take Farisian Grey, and you're going to apply this over the legs and the weapon of the gun, just in the raised area. So realistically, you're going to dry brush it over just to make the legs look less of that boring grey and give them a bit of boring black, sorry, and give them more of a better feel to them so they actually look more detailed. Just before we get on to the bases, I need to give a huge shout out to the legend Neural Miniatures, as you saw my last tale one. And all I'm saying is I reached out to him to ask if I could use his steps for his desert bases that I use for my tale. And he allowed me to, so just big thank you to him. Here's his channel page if you want to go subscribe, and I highly recommend you do. And here's some of the work he actually done from his Instagram, which I'll also leave in the description. He's an amazing painter, and I can't thank him enough for allowing me to use his steps. So I ask and will be thankful if you do go check him out. So starting the bases off, you're going to take a PVA glue or that kind of base and glue of your choice, and you're just going to apply it to the base where you want the sand to go that we're going to place down in a minute. So if it's a bigger base, apply a bigger amount because it's bigger. If it's smaller, just apply a smaller amount. But yeah, when you get the sand, you obviously just spread it on there, make sure it's all good and on there well. And yeah. So after you've applied the sand to the base, you're then going to take agrellan earth, and you're going to apply this to everywhere where the sand isn't on the base. And depending on how thick you want the cracks is going to determine how thick you apply it to the base. So if you want big cracks, you're going to apply it quite heavily and thick. But if you want small cracks, you're going to apply it quite thin and less thick. After the crackle paint has dried, you're then going to prime it black, and then we're going to take Xandri dust, and you're going to paint this over the base multiple times, 3 times to be exact, to get a full coverage and to get it to the perfect colour that we need. You're then going to take Doomball Brown, and you're going to wet blend this onto the rocks and sand that you have put onto the base. So basically, after you've applied your 3rd layer of the previous step, you're basically just going to want to jump on this step straight away and wet blend it in. You're then going to take your Shakti bone, and you're basically going to do the exact same as what we've done in the previous step, but apart from putting it over the rocks, you're just going to put it over the places where the cracks are. You're then going to take Agrox Earthshade, and you're literally going to put this over everything. You're going to put it over the whole base and darken it all down, because where we're trying to make it like a wasteland kind of base is a bit too bright, right? And the last wasteland I saw be that bright, I think it was in Fallout, and it just looked a bit off. So yeah, we want to darken it down a little bit. You're then going to take Xandri dust again, and depending on how bright you want to take the base back up again, you're going to dry brush it overwards. So I did mine not too bright. I didn't want to brighten it up too much. I done very light dry brushing. But if you want to take it back to being quite bright, give it a heavy dry brushing. You're then going to take Screaming Skull, and you're going to dry brush this over the cracked areas just to make them a little bit lighter and make them really stand out a bit more. For the final steps for the bases, we're going to take pigment powder, and you're going to apply this in the different areas. So first you're going to take Vallejo's desert dust, and you're going to apply this onto the outer bits of the rocks and some where the cracks are. And I couldn't find this one anywhere, but I swear I had it, but I must have misplaced it somewhere. But you're going to take Vallejo's burnt umber if you have it as well, and you're going to basically apply that to mainly the rocks to darken them a bit. And with the base being done and the model being done, I now think it's time for the final reveal. And that about does it. And if you enjoyed watching this, which I hope you did, it would mean a lot to me if you would consider subscribing. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be. Goodbye.